So now we've done the body and the feet and the arms, and now we're going to do the belly. And it's pretty much exactly like how we started the body of the green part. So I'll show you how. Let's start off with a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we've got our chain, and now we're going to single crochet in each chain all the way across, and the same way we did the green part, we're going to go into this middle ridge only, this bump. So second chain from the hook, go into the bump. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to stop counting because I'm probably throwing you off. So keep going and I'll meet you when you get all the way to the end. So I got all the way to the end, and in the last chain space I'm going to do another 2 single crochet, and this is going to make kind of a U-turn so we can start working on the backs of the single crochet of the single crochets we just did, which are part of the chains actually. See, both sides have stitches. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a single crochet in each stitch across, starting with this one. So it's looking like this. So you're going to go all the way to the other side, and then I'll meet you when we get there. So now I've gotten to the end of this round, and I'm going to see, I did a single crochet in the last stitch, and I'm going to do 2 in this last part here. 1, 2. So we're doing another U-turn, and then I'm going to slip stitch the first stitch to end my round. And this is what it should look like. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch over 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to single crochet all the way across until we get to the 3 in this on this end, and we're going to do 2 single crochet into each, and then kind of U-turn and work on the other side. So it's just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch across, and I will meet you at the end of this right here. I'll meet you right here. So I've went from our slip stitches and I did 1 single crochet across, and now I'm at this corner and there are 3 stitches here. I'm going to do 2 single crochet into each stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to do single crochet across, but let me tell you exactly how many you're going to need. 27 across. So after you've done your last 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, you're going to do 27 single crochet. So I've got 1, 2, 2. Okay, so I have done 27 single crochet, and this is what it should look like. And this is going to be the tail part, and this is going to be the body. So we've basically have it symmetrical. We did slip stitches on this side, and this is all single crochets around here. Now we're going to go and do 4 slip stitches. So we're going to turn our work, and we're going to slip stitch over 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do 9 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're going to chain 8. you're going to skip 4 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then start single crocheting in the next stitch after that. We're going to want to do 6 single crochet, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's what it should look like. And then we're going to do the next row. Going to slip stitch 1 over, and then we're going to do 4 single crochet. Then you're going to chain 10, and then you're going to attach your do a single crochet on top of this single crochet that was right after your last chain. And we're going to do 8 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is what it should look like. Now we can cut our end. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So now we're going to work on this side, and we're going to be doing it symmetrical starting from this side, because we did the tail and then we slip stitched over and we started doing single crochet. So these two are symmetrical. And what we're going to do is, counting from your first single crochet, not the slip stitches, but the first single crochet, we're going to count over 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to attach in the next one. And then we are going to do, starting from the same stitch, we're going to do 8 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to chain 8, going to skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to do 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's what this row should look like. Then we're going to turn our work and slip stitch into the next stitch over. And then we're going to do 4 single crochet. And then I'm going to chain 10. And then I'm going to single crochet on top of the next stitch. So we're going to do 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And this is what it should look like. You can cut your end, and you've completed the bottom of the alligator. So next I will show you how to do the mouth. So we're going to do the mouth. And this is going to be pretty simple. It's just we're going to chain and we're going to do 1 round of stitches, and that'll be the mouth. So we'll start off with a slip knot. And we will chain 21. So we have our chain, and now I'm going to start working in the middle ridge of each chain. So I'll start off from the second chain from the hook. I'm going to go into this ridge and do a single crochet, and then the next one will be a single crochet, and then another single crochet. So we'll do 3 single crochets, and then we'll do 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do 3 double crochets. Oh, try that again. 1, 2, 3 double crochets. Then we'll do 2 double triple crochets, and in case you're wondering how to do that, you wrap once and then you wrap again, then you go through your stitch, pull through, you have 4 loops, wrap and pull through 2, wrap and pull through 2, wrap and pull through 2. So I'm going to do that again in the next stitch, wrap and pull through. So you have 4 loops. Pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. So that's the tallest stitch. Now we're going to go down again. We're going to use shorter stitches. So now we're going to do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 3 single crochets. One, two, three. So we've done one side of the mouth. Now we're going to U-turn and do the exact same thing on the other side. So we're in the last chain, and I'm going to do 2 more in the same stitch, 2 more single crochet. 1, 2. Okay. And then I'm going to start doing single crochet across. So 1 in each stitch. Here, do 3 single crochet. One, two, three. Then we're going to do 3 half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do double triple. We're going to do 2 of those. 1, 2, and now we're going to do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 3 half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then we will do 2 single crochets, and then in this last kind of looks like the chain on this side, we'll just do a slip stitch, and this is what it should look like. Now that we've finished crocheting everything except for the top ridges of the alligator, now I'm going to show you what I do to kind of clean up the green part before we start putting it all together. So I'm going to get out a needle. This will do. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to be keeping the tail legs until after we've stuffed everything, because I'm going to want to stuff into the holes as well, and then I'll sew this in and then cut them. So leave the tail legs alone. The rest though I'm going to sew in because we don't need them anymore. So let's start at this back. Some of them I worked over, but just to secure it a little bit, I'm just going to kind of pick into the inner stitches just to keep it in its place. You don't have to go like into every stitch across. Just whatever you can get through. Even 2 stitches is enough just to get it out of the way. Because no one's going to see it, it's going to be on the inside. And then just cut it a little bit so it doesn't bother you. Same thing here. I'll get a thinner needle. Okay. Most important thing is you just don't want to go through all the way to the other side. You just want to pick up a little bits of the stitches on the inside so that the string doesn't show on the outside. That's enough, and then just snip it. Let's see, there's one here. Trying to sew the alligator with all these ends is kind of going to be overwhelming. It'll be irritating, so I really recommend you get rid of some of the ends before you start assembling the alligator, even though you won't see them if you can tuck them in where you're stuffing. It just looks kind of crazy if you keep them all. Let's see, I've got 3 more. And the last one is here. Okay. Let's see, did I get them all? I think, right. Did I? Yes. There should only be 4 ends, and those are going to be for the tails. And these chains are just going to fold over like this. So I've got all my parts of my alligator here. The green top part, the beige bottom for his belly, and then I've got his mouth, which is in the peachy pink. And I have some white string for sewing in the mouth to the bottom and the top of the alligator. Plus I have the safety eyes and a needle, and I've got string for the ridges, which we'll do last. And let me show you. I think what I always like to do is sew in the mouth first, and it's sewed together with the white string. So what I do is, first of all, put the insides together like this and position them on top, and then this is going to go in the inside. Probably should just sew this in so you don't have to worry about it. Remember to always sew your ends into the side you don't want to see. Okay, So it's going to be like this. Fold it over and stick it in between. And then the best way to do this is to kind of match up the stitches and do like one whip stitch per stitch so that it kind of looks like teeth. So it's a little tricky at first, but if you can match up the edge a little bit, so I'm going to start, let's see, I'll probably start around here. Then I'm going to go into a stitch. So I go into one and into the other, and then I'm going to pull quite a bit out so that if I need to, I'm not going to cut my end, I'm just going to keep it there. So if I need to sew from the other side as well, because I don't have enough string on this side, then I'll have enough. So there's one. I went through one stitch. Now I'm going to go into the next green stitch and the next pink stitch and pull through. Then the next green stitch and the next pink stitch. Now where to stop is the question. So let's look at this alligator. You've got the cheeks here, and you stop basically at the tip of the cheek. So here are the cheek stitches before the chains. So you want to stop right at this tip right here, and then switch down to working the yellow. So I've got just one more stitch before my chains, and I'm going to stop here because when I sew my alligator, I'm going to actually sew this part down to the yellow to make the mouth close. So this is what it's looking like. Now I'm going to switch to sewing on this part. So let me align it. And I'll leave this last stitch not being stitched. And skipping that one, I will move and do this one. Just like that. One stitch at a time. This is what it's looking like. At the tip you might need to do 2 stitches of the beige into this one in the corner. Just kind of move it on the other side so it looks like a separate tooth. There. Now this is a good time to just match everything up again and make sure it's looking right. And actually, I think what I would do now, because I'm getting close to the cheekbones here, just to make sure that the pink is working well, I'd take my needle off this side and then cut my white yarn, maybe about like this, give me enough to work with, and I'll start sewing across on this side, across the green until I get over to the cheekbone area, so I can make sure that it's all aligned. Okay, so I got to the single crochet before my chains here, and now reattach my needle on this side. Okay, so I've got one stitch left here, which I'm going to keep. So I've done all of the stitch work, and this is what it looks like. And I've met up at this corner, and I'm just going to knot the two whites together, and then those will just be stuffed and you won't notice them. And those will be just tucked in. So there's the mouth. Now I'm going to sew the bodies together, and I'm doing this before I put the eyes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew it all the way to the end of the tail, and then we'll see what it looks like, and I will show you what to do, because see, the tail top is longer than the tail bottom. So we'll basically get it probably all the way over here, and then we'll put the eyes in while it's open, and we'll start stuffing a little bit, and then I'll show you how to close it. So I'm going to start on this side, and I'm going to start in this stitch right before the chains, and I'm using the same color as the top of the alligator to stitch them together. And I'm going to pull it pretty long because this is sewing all the way around. So I'm going to go up and run it through here. And I kind of want to tuck the mouth in, and then squish the stitches together and do it a couple times, like sew it a couple times just to secure it. Once, and then twice. Okay? And now for these chains, I'm going to tuck them in and just pretend they don't exist. And we're going to match up the stitches across. So what we're first going to do, get this tail end out of the way, just cut it. And just stick it inside. Okay, so we're going to work down the side of the cheek. So we did this stitch, now we'll go into this stitch, or the side of this stitch, and then I'm going to go into the side of this cheek stitch. Okay. And then just get the chains out of the way and match up the stitches to make it easier, just like this. And then start matching up stitches. And sew it together, going through usually just one stitch from each side. Once you do the first few stitches where you've tucked in the chains, then it's out of the way and you don't really notice them. And what it should happen is, where this foot is, should be about where this, the side of this ridge is. So the foot should be going around the sides of this. Okay. So now I'm going to start sewing in the foot. Now don't go through the whole foot, you're just sewing in these stitches to the side here. So I'll get into this stitch and go through here. This is why we're using a yarn that's exactly the same color as the top. Because if it's a little messy, you're not going to notice. It's just going to look like it's part of that crochet. And you might need to do a few yellows per green. But pull it nice and tight. So I've gotten that side. Then I'll kind of, what I like to do is I like to match up this part in between the legs. Like that. And then stitch across. If you see any imperfections of a stitch that's sticking out, when you go past it, this is the time to just sew it in. Okay, just like that. Okay, now I'm getting into the next foot. Okay. And then we're going to start doing this tail section. So you want to match up the stitches so that this ridge is the same. Okay, then we'll do the tail. Okay, so now I've got this little tail end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold over the green part and start sewing that in. Whip stitching it together. So probably first I'll take this edge stitch here, go into the next green stitch, because that's on the edge, and then I'll fold it over and find the stitch on the other side and go through both again all the way to the green. Okay, then I will go across the green, matching stitches, just like that. And then I can just feed my string through. Like that. And continue down the side. Alright, so this is what it looks like. We're getting there. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to put the eyes in where I suggest you put them, and how to stuff it and then close it. So first things first, I want to look at the placement of the eyes. So it's kind of where the cheeks are, in the middle, maybe a little bit forward. You can play with it a little bit and pick a place that you like, but since we've got a spot that's open, we can just say, okay, here's the cheek. I guess I'll try putting the eye right here, and you squish it into a stitch, and it goes through the stitch. And make sure that before you put the safety backs that you like the placement of the eyes, because once you put those in, they do not come out. Also remember that your alligator is secured on one side and not the other, so make sure after you put the eyes in and you take a look at them that they are in line and not diagonal. So I put these eyes in, and now if I match everything up, they look okay to me. So then I will get my safety backs and push them on. These make it safe for kids and babies to use because they can't pull the eyes through the stitches, especially if you've used like a thin yarn like I have, and the eyes are quite a bit bigger. You won't have a problem. Okay, so I've got the eyes in, and now it's time to stuff. So I've got just regular stuffing. You can use whatever stuffing you have. This alligator is small. He doesn't need that much stuffing. If you have a screwdriver, you can use it to help push things in. Maybe a large hook. So you want to stuff the mouth. You don't want to overstuff it. It's easy to overstuff this alligator because he doesn't use that much stuffing. Now, if you're super handy and you don't like how the eyes are making your alligator kind of stick out, you can cut off the end of this to make it a shorter eye. It shouldn't affect the safety. But I usually just push them backwards. And then stuff it. And like this. There we go. So his head looks sufficiently stuffed right now. And then I can stuff his tail. I'm not worrying about the feet because I left the feet open, so I can always add stuffing into the feet after. This is a great time to test whether a screwdriver is better or not. Got 2 screwdrivers. Let's try Phillips. Might be a little better for poking it in. Let's try a flathead. That works better. I like the flathead. Nice to get it in position to be poked. Maybe with a hook. Get it down to the tail. Okay. Now that's enough stuffing for now because we're still sewing it in. I just wanted to make sure the head and the tail have got a reasonable amount of stuffing in it. So let's continue sewing the sides together. Okay, now's a good time to stuff a little bit more to the belly. And then don't forget that we're tucking in these chains, so that's going to add a little bit to the stuffing. And we'll start doing the leg. Okay, so I've got this side tucked in, I'm going to tuck in this side. Okay, now before we close, Let's add a little bit more stuffing. Especially to the neck area. And he's a dainty little alligator. He doesn't need that much stuffing. Yep, definitely the flathead wins. Okay. Let's see, I like that. I like that. At this point, you should like how it's stuffed. If you feel like your mouth is a little bit overstuffed, take some out. Let's see. Now we're at the edge of the cheek. You want to do it a couple times just to secure it. Okay. Roar. Then you're going to want to sew in your green. Just do it a few times to make sure it's secure, because this thing is holding your entire alligator together. Okay. Just pull it a little bit and snip, and it's hidden. Now, this is what our alligator looks like. And we can stuff the feet, and then sew in the feet, and then all that's left is the little ridges. Alright, we're at the last part now. We're just going to put the ridges on the alligator, and we're going to be working on top and doing kind of slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch, chain 2 all the way across the spine, 3 places. So first I've made a slip knot, and I'm going to attach my yarn right about at the base of the neck. So about here, and I'm doing it in the middle. I'm just doing it like this. Then I'm going to pull it through. And then do a chain to secure. And then this I'll sew in later. But we're in the middle now, and we're going to start doing our chain 2s and slip stitching in each spot. So we just go, you see how there are little gaps here? We're going to push under and over and then pull the yarn through. And then chain 2. Down and up and pull through. And then chain 2. And then again, you're just going to go all the way across, all the way to the tail. And just make sure you're going in a straight line, not zigzagging, so that you have enough space for the two on the one on each side. So I'm going to continue all the way down, and I will meet you when I'm done, and then I'll show you how to do the other ones. So I've done the middle, and I got to about this far, and I stopped and cut my yarn, and then we'll sew the two ends in. Then I'll show you how to do the other two. Well, basically, I skip one of these kind of sections where there are holes, and I do it in the one next to it. And the same for this one. I basically leave one gap on either side, and I start a little bit behind the middle one, maybe a couple stitches behind, and that's where I will start adding it. And the same way, you just put your yarn through, do a chain to secure, okay, and then don't worry about the first one being loose because you can always pull the tail. Okay, then you just go across the same thing. So you want to keep going all the way until about just past the leg. And do that on both sides, and then be done. So I finished the ridges, and I'm just going to show you how I sew in one of the ends. So I'm just going to push it into like under the first stitch, and then pull it through tight, and then put my needle through behind it, and then in front, just kind of working along the same color line, and then one more time. and then I'll just snip it. And then you can do that for all of the ends. And you've got your alligator done. Rawr. Jump, 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 jump. So, you got your alligators finished now. Now, someone commented that they wished that the alligator's mouth would be closed a little bit more so it doesn't look like it's always attacking. That's an easy fix. You can do that even after you're done. So, this is what it looks like. His mouth is open. Nom, nom, nom. If you want it to be closed a little bit more, how to fix it while you're crocheting is, while you're assembling, is instead of waiting, continuing the stitching until one stitch at the edge of the cheek, which is what we did here, just stop at the cheek point. Otherwise, if you've already done it and you want to close its mouth a little bit more, go 2 stitches over, and you will just be sewing it a little bit together and tuck in the mouth part and the teeth just by sewing them together. It'll close it a little bit. And then you can go through, push your needle through to the other side. Okay. And then you can close this side the same way, just a couple stitches at a time. So there. Then he looks a little bit calmer, I guess. So whatever you like. That's how you can fix it. And then once you've sewn the cheeks together, you can just sew the end in. You can even stitch it all the way to the front, tie a knot with the end, and then that's not going to go anywhere, and then sew them into the alligator. There.
Thank you for watching. I hope you have an alligator by now, or at least you're working towards one. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. I'll read them and get back to you and make anything clear that you need. Also, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe because I'm going to keep making animals. I got an alphabet to go through. So I'll let you know when I get the next one, which I think is going to be a bear. Surprise, surprise. Haven't fully decided yet, but I think you need a bear. Anyways, stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.